All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Monday night. Another edition of Knicks Weekly presented by Manscaped. Tonight's show, we're starting our draft preview. We're going to get into the Kentucky Wildcats, who could be on the Knicks' radar this upcoming NBA draft. We'll recap the second round of the NBA playoffs, the games that have been played thus far. And could a couple of big-name stars be already off the table for the Knicks? We're going to get into all of that. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Lock in. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And let's get into it, man. CP the franchise here. My guy Alex Rotaros on the other side. And we're going to kick this show off tonight with a special guest. Not a stranger to the show. You know, whenever it is draft time, we bring my guy on here, especially when it's Kentucky's concerned, because, you know, with the Knicks contingent and you know, some of the Kentucky Wildcats on the team, this guy knows his stuff when it comes to those Wildcats, man. So joining us tonight, returning to the show, is our guy Jack Pilgrim from Kentucky Sports Radio. Jack, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. I always it's become a yearly tradition. I enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of a good luck run with Kenny Payne and Emmanuel Quickly and some of these other guys. So I hope to keep the good luck coming.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know what? So speaking of Kenny P, you know, what was the reaction on the Kentucky side, knowing that, you know, former coach finally gets his coaching gig, but he goes to the in-state rival? How'd you guys feel about that?
If I recall, I think on this show, I said that he was looking for one last job before kind of making his return to college as a head coach. He was waiting for that big opportunity. Like I said on this show, the dude's a big man, you know, guru, knows what he's doing. He's as connected as anybody, as respected as anybody that I know. I love KP. As much as I hate that he's going to the rival, man, he's the goods. He's going to absolutely kill it. Recruiting is already off to a hot start. His coaching base he's already gotten are all incredible guys. So yeah, nothing but respect for KP. I just wish it were blue that he was going back to, not red.
Yeah, understood, man. Definitely tip your cap. On this side, it seemed like it was a very emotional departure for Kenny Payne and the Knicks and Leon Rose. You know, Julius Randle said he was emotional about it. So no doubt, Kenny Payne certainly made his impact felt in just a year and a half with the Knicks. So definitely good luck to him. Now, as we segue to the draft, man, you know, there's couple of top prospects at the top of the heap. You have your Chet Holmgrens, you have your Paolo Bancheros, you have your Jabari Smiths. But there's a guy in this draft who committed to Kentucky early, but didn't play for the Wildcats. Number one recruit for the 2022 draft class, this incoming class, didn't play for them, yet finds himself at the top of many draft boards. And his name is Shaedon Sharpe. Give our viewers, you know, some intel on Shaedon Sharpe.
Well, man, he is a certified bucket. He's a 3-level scorer, as athletic as they come. I think he just broke a record at 49-inch vertical.
49-inch vertical leap.
The most, yeah. This is a dude that the only knock on his game, I've talked to NBA scouts, people that know this process through and through, that say the only reason why he's not a guaranteed surefire top 5 pick is that his motor at times, I think they're just wishing that he didn't stick at like 80%. You know, they want him to play at 100%. But I truly think it's just because he gets bored because he's so good. He, you know, dominated the competition at EYBL this past year, led the event. It's the best high school event of the year. He led the event in scoring, scored at all 3 levels, did things that John Calipari was jumping out of his seat, clapping and smiling, going, man, I can't believe that this kid's going to be a Kentucky Wildcat. He's just kind of that dude. I heard that he came in mid-year at Kentucky, was lighting dudes up from almost day one. There was a lot of back and forth with his camp about it. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Do we hold him out? You know, worried about hurting his draft stock because, you know, I think the mystery side of it kind of keeps that intrigue super high. So I think it's all over the place. I've talked to people that think he's a guaranteed top 5 pick. They say, look, he's Bradley Beal 2.0. He's a dude that's going to come in and be a certified bucket from day one. I heard people that NBA guys that they just don't know what he is yet. The film on him is just so light right now that they don't know if they want to take a chance on him in those top 5, top 6 picks, where it kind of gets into that interesting area for you guys in particular with the Knicks. I mean, I think that the Knicks would be, what are you guys, 11? Picking 11?
Most likely, yeah.
That is kind of the sweet spot right now of if he can get a top 10 guarantee, that's obviously preferable and would probably push him to the pros, because it's not a guarantee that he's leaving yet, but I think you guys are right on the cusp of that. If you could get a chance on a dude like him, I mean, the sky is the limit for that kid, for real.
So yeah, because from what I was reading, he did have a chance. He was eligible to play with Kentucky during the second half of the season, but elected not to. So you're thinking is that maybe they were considering the draft and his draft stock and didn't want to impact that?
Well, I mean, there's still even some talk about if he's even eligible. There's a lot of talk because of his graduation date in high school. He was apparently, they said that he graduated in October, then it got moved to December, and then they found this transcript that said that he graduated in May, that he had enough credits to graduate back in May. Man. So basically, the NBA rule basically states you have to be 1 year removed from high school a year before the following start of the following NBA season. So it would have to be October. So he magically comes up with this transcript of May to make him hit that eligibility mark. So I think the NBA is still kind of reviewing that and just double and triple checking that he's good. I think the NBA is still anticipating him to be eligible, but it's still something to just keep in mind that it's not a 100% done deal. And then so that was kind of something that they factored in about was he going to play? Is he not? His handler is a guy that Kentucky, same guy with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Canadian connection, got him to Kentucky the first time around. So it was a good relationship, but it's kind of been a rocky finish from there, trying to figure out if Shaedon was going to play or not. So, yeah, it's been kind of way all over the place. In Lexington, it's nothing but drama about, the process of getting Shaedon here, if he was going to play, if he was going to be eligible, is he going to leave? Is it going to be Kentucky's first none and done? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But as a player, as just from a pure playing standpoint, I think the absolute world of Shaedon, and I think he's going to be an NBA star at some point. When that day comes is kind of the bigger question right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, for the Knicks, look, we have enough young talent that could slide in as role players. I think right now we need to take a swing on some upside. Certainly would be intriguing if he's there wherever the Knicks pick. Who knows? Lottery's coming up May 17th. Stranger things have happened, but, would certainly be an interesting prospect. The motor situation is certainly not what you want to hear, especially we just had a kid depart from the Knicks with a motor issue. That is Kevin Knox. You have another kid who has some motor issues. That is Cam Reddish. So, that's certainly a red flag there. But, to be a 3-level scorer, to be a defender when he wants to be, it's certainly intriguing. Now, how would you stack him up to, a guy who you've seen in the SEC last couple of years? He made his NBA playoffs debut this year and had some bright spots, and that is in Anthony Edwards. How would you compare him with Ant Edwards?
I mean, Ant kind of has that dog, kind of that's kind of what the grit factor, and that's just not. Shaedon's just kind of a reserved, laid back, go out, I'm gonna go put up 25 on your head and go watch TV and chill for the rest of the night with my dudes. Like that's just that's who he is. He's just a certified bucket getter, and I think that's the one thing that NBA teams are not worried about, but they're just kind of going, is this is he going to be Andrew Wiggins? Is he going to be a 25-point per game guy, but it's empty stats? Or is this a dude that can really contribute to winning? And I think that's kind of the push and pull about, is he a top 5 pick or is he top 15 pick? Is he lottery or is he top 5? And I think that's the difference. I think he's a dude that I would absolutely attribute it to just being bored more than anything. I think this is a dude that when he's locked in, I've seen him compete at the biggest stage of high school basketball. At the EYBL, his team was awful, and he was still leading them to wins and kind of putting the team on his back and just doing whatever it took. But I think in a winning environment where the culture is high, I've heard that he was nothing but a great teammate and all the stuff behind the scenes at Kentucky. I mean, it was nothing but fantastic. He's a great kid, shy, reserved. He's just, not an outspoken, super bright personality type kid. And I mean, that's fine. Is there maybe a worry about, the bright lights of Madison Square Garden and, the New York spotlight? Maybe, but I definitely think in terms of just pure talent, he's 6'5", for 49-inch vertical leap, 7-foot wingspan. I mean, he has all of the physical gifts that you just can't teach. I mean, for my money, I really don't know if there's another 3-level scorer like that in this draft. So I think if you're looking for a true home run hit, I don't know if there's another dude out there other than Shaedon Sharpe that would fit that billing.
And how would you rank him between, like, because we got to see Johnny Davis play and Jaden Ivey play this season. How would you rank Shaedon Sharpe between those two guys who are considered some of the top shooting guards in this upcoming draft?
Well, and I think it's difficult because you saw those two dudes thrive on the college basketball stage, which is, kind of the big question about Shaedon. We just haven't seen enough of them. It's kind of one of the mystery. It's like a mystery grab bag type dude. The idea of Shaedon is brilliant, but if you haven't seen him compete at the highest level at this stage, I've seen him dominate at high school and prep school and AAU and all that stuff, but I still haven't even seen him dominate at the college level yet, outside of just hearing rumors and rumblings that, oh man, he was lighting up the Kentucky defense in these 5-on-5 scrimmages and all that stuff. So I don't know, and I think that's kind of something that the NBA teams are struggling with right now. From what we've seen, I'd probably put them behind both of those other two, just because I can see Jaden Ivey. I've seen them with my own two eyes. Shaedon's just kind of a mystery at this point, and I think that definitely plays in the Knicks' favor if you're hoping for a potential slide.
Okay,
Al, any more on Sharpe before we move to the next one?
No, that's my question.
So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP Alex Rotaros in the building. Special guest Jack Pilgrim of the Kentucky Sports Radio Network. We're talking Knicks and the Kentucky Wildcats in the NBA draft, man. A couple of prospects who could be on the Knicks radar. We just talked about Shaedon Sharpe. Now, Jack, the next guy I want to talk about, we need a point guard, man. We are in the point guard market, and there is one point guard who came out of Kentucky this year. 12 points per game, 3.9 dimes per game. Didn't play too well against St. Peter's, only 5 points in that elimination game in the tournament. His name is Ty Washington. What do you think about Ty and his prospects as a point guard at the next level?
I think Ty is a dude that you saw kind of the idea of Ty take a little bit of a hit because he dealt with a lot of injury issues. He rolled his ankle a couple of times and really couldn't get back to full strength to close out SEC play. He rolled his ankle bad against Auburn, and he really wasn't the same player ever since then. But right before that injury, he was playing the best basketball of his career, goes for a career high against Tennessee. Incredible game. I think it was 27 points, knocking shots down from three, playing in transition, great playmaker, distributing, playing tight defense. I mean, that was the best that we've ever seen Ty Washington play. But unfortunately, that was the only real opportunity that we got to see him thrive against elite competition. And that was kind of the worry down the stretch was, we got to see him score 20 points a game early, against Ohio and, all these other, no-name schools early. But when push came to shove and you needed him down the stretch, he was either healthy or inefficient or both. And I think that was kind of the worry about Ty. I think Ty is a dog. I think he's tough as nails. He fought back and played in games that he absolutely shouldn't have played. That game at Tennessee was one I watched him come out of the tunnel and he's limping. It was kind of a game time decision. He was limping, and strength and conditioning program trainers are like, dude, why are you doing this? You don't need to do this. And he's like, nah, man, I'm going. Like, that's who Ty is. He's a dog. He's tough. He's gritty on both ends. I love what he brings at his best. But unfortunately, we just didn't get to see him play throughout the season at his best. And I think at his best, he's a 3-level scorer, but I think he's, pure 3-point shooter. I saw him win 3 or 4 different 3-point contests leading up to his college career, even the stupid all-star games before, Big Blue Madness, all that stuff. He was winning those competitions, all that. I love him as a shooter. I think he's a little underrated as a passer and pull up jump shooter from mid range. I mean, he does a lot of things that you really like. His size, he's stout, kind of 6'3", 197, 200-ish pounds. There's a lot to like about Ty. I'm just curious about if he is the 11th pick or if he's 18-ish, in that range. Is he right, mid first round, or is he late lottery? And I think that's kind of the something that I just need to see him healthy and see how he does in these combine settings before I really get sold on him as a real lottery pick.
What would you say were some of the negatives on the downside of Ty this season?
Health. Was the one thing. He got a little inefficient at times because you could tell he was clearly trying to overcompensate for being lack of lateral quickness because of his ankle issues. So he was trying to overcompensate by overshooting from perimeter. Then that's when you started getting the 3 for 10, 3 for 12, 4 for 15 type games. And I just it just wasn't enough down the stretch. Kentucky needed Ty to be Ty, and he just wasn't that dude down the stretch. And it was that is a clear concern. You just didn't get the consistent player that you got earlier in the year. If you're looking for the best of the best, that Tennessee film it'll blow you away. That's exactly what you're looking for the first game. If you're looking for the worst of the worst, it was at Tennessee when he was trying to play through injury, turn the ball over, horrible defensively, really inefficient. And I think it's just kind of a boomer bust type dude. I think he has a high floor at the next level. I don't know what his potential really is as a star, but in terms of a role player, or even a kind of capable starter, I definitely think Ty could be that dude. I just don't know if he has that star quality that I think the Knicks are certainly hoping for out of that point guard position.
What would you say is like a?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, what do you think is a good comp for Ty? And is he like that point guard that's going to be running an offense, or is he more of a combo guard that he can play off ball, he's gonna be playing on ball sometimes? You're just really more of a utility guy.
Well, I kind of compare his situation a little bit to Tyrese Maxey, who I think Tyrese is clearly quicker and kind of more athletic, but just in terms of, was Ty a true point guard at Kentucky? No, because he had to share with different guys, Ashton Hagans, Emmanuel Quickley, even. But at his best, Tyrese Maxey was an absolute hooper, and you got to see what he is. I mean, if you're watching TV right now, Tyrese Maxey is killing it in the playoffs. Ty Washington kind of had a little bit of those struggles because he was sharing with Xavier Wheeler. Kellen Grady was playing a lot of on-ball stuff, a lot of sharing and trying to figure out who he is. I do think Ty Washington can be an on-ball dude, but I think that's kind of what makes him interesting. If you need him to be kind of like, what you like about Emmanuel Quickley, he can play off-ball if you need him to. He can run the point if you really need him to. Ty, I don't know about the 3. I think he's a little too small, but the 1 or the 2, I think if you let him play through his mistakes at the 1, I definitely think the potential is there for him to be kind of a stable force from there. I just don't know that the star potential that you get out of him there.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting, man. I don't see them, based on how they finish this year, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Thibodeau to win next year. I don't see them putting the ball in a rookie's hands who they may not have confidence in that can, grab the ball and take the reins right away. Plus, your boy Quickley took a big step last year, man. Quickley took a big step, especially as a playmaker. I was hoping they would have gave him the keys and evaluated him as a point guard option for us. Playing off of Julius, playing off of RJ a little bit. Didn't happen. He's more of a 6-man, spark plug for us. But Quickley certainly took a step.
Yeah, Quickley's a dude that, in terms of high quality kid, dude that's going to come in, he's going to grind. You have to physically take him out of the gym. Quickley's been that dude from day one. I love Quickley. I really, honestly, it was kind of crazy. I wasn't super high on him out of high school. I went and watched him at different events, and he passed the ball really well, kind of as a true point guard. He was a great shot. Pretty solid, but I didn't like his finishing ability, and there was a lot of flaws. I didn't like him defensively. And when he got to Kentucky, year 1, it was like, okay, that's exactly who I thought he was going to be. And then year 2, he just explodes. He's an SEC Player of the Year type dude. It's again, I just don't know how people keep doubting people. Kentucky point guards in the NBA at this point. You just go down the list. I don't know how people keep passing on these dudes, and that's kind of why I keep thinking, Ty. are you really going to hurt him and kind of knock him because of his injury concerns? Because at his best, he was kind of that star guy at Kentucky, 20-point per game type dude, but we just couldn't see that down the home stretch. So he's definitely a tough guy to peg right now. I don't know where I would put him. Talking to NBA scouts, dudes, even close to the Knicks frame of mind, thinking I think that they are intrigued with Ty, but not super sold on him as a high-end lottery pick. I think that, but in terms of Shaedon Sharpe, they're definitely exploring that possibility. I will put that out there.
Now for Ty, they kind of say that he has a very well-rounded game. We had Corey Talaba on the show, and he said that his mid-range is probably his strongest suit. What would you say is Ty's strongest part of his game? Is it the mid-range? Is it his ability to be a playmaker? What would you say it is?
Yeah, that left elbow, right elbow pull-up jumper it's catch. I mean, I said probably 35 times this year, I can't believe he made that shot again. It was just over and over and over again. And, he has a really tight circle, and I got really close with his dad, his uncle. His uncle kind of is a trainer of sorts. They have a super advanced analytical way of training. Measure every single jump shot form. It's almost down to a science the way they've gone about doing things. He's a gym rat. He's a dude that he's always in there working on his shot, working on his game. So I don't think he's kind of similar situation to Tyrese Maxey, where his 35% 3-point percentage isn't super impressive just on the surface level, but I think there's a lot to work with there. I think he's going to be a better 3-point shooter than his numbers kind of give him credit for. But in terms of, mid-range, it struggles a little bit finishing through contact, but mid-range and 3-point, I have no concerns about him at the NBA level for sure.
Gonna be interesting indeed, man. Al, you had anything else before we let Jack go?
I guess the last thing I'd say is if you could say for one thing for Ty to work on to take his game to that next level, what would it be?
Athleticism, quickness, kind of working on that lateral quickness is definitely something. He's not an explosive dude. He's a pace, definitely a change of pace type dude that he never gets rushed. He never gets controlled. He's a competitor. That's kind of what he's known for. But there's always room for improvement I don't think he's going to measure very well at the combine in terms of, the agility drills and all that stuff. So I think that might be a little bit of a knock on him, but just in terms of quickness and kind of the lateral stuff, I think that's definitely something that he needs to work on. But
all right, back up. Well, Jack, man, definitely appreciate the insights as usual. Appreciate you coming back on and chopping it up with us, man. Always a pleasure having you on. Listen, man, we also had the NFL draft this past weekend. Giants Nation in the chat. A lot of Giants fans were not too pleased with this Wan'Dale Robinson. Real quick, you give it a ringing endorsement.
Man, I cannot stress to you enough. Wan'Dale is that guy. He's tough as nails. He's quick as hell. I'm telling you, ignore the size. I know he's 5 foot nothing and no weight to him at all, but he's strong. He's tough. He's quick. He's a dude that he was our only receiving weapon all year long. Teams knew exactly that we were going to go at him over and over and over again, and against the highest level of SEC competition, and nobody could stop him all year long. Nice. Nobody could stop him. You basically said before every snap, that guy is going to get the ball. Do something about it, and they can never stop him. So I'm telling you, ignore the noise, ignore the size complaints, ignore all that stuff. Wan'Dale Robinson is that guy.
Let's go.
I'm telling you, he's that guy.
On that note, man, always appreciate your insight. Let the people know where they can find you on all social media and wherever your show's platform is.
Yeah, Jack Pilgrim KSR on Twitter. I host the Source to Say podcast, basketball recruiting, UK, scouting, all that stuff, all that insight that we're talking about on this show, all that and more on that show, Source to Say podcast, KentuckySportsRadio.com. Have a good time with it, man.
Jack, always appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you next year, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Later, Jack. That's
my guy, Jack Pilgrim of the Kentucky Sports Radio Network. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. What do you guys think, man? Shaedon Sharpe, Ty Washington. Leave some comments in the chat. Let us know where you're thinking in regard to those draft prospects. Draft coverage has begun, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't noticed, the first episode of Knicks Weekly May 2nd, we have kicked off our draft content. So let's get it going, man. Al, how'd you feel about your draft, man? Were you excited about it? All these Jets fans were texting me all day Saturday, man. We got this guy, we got the number one this, we got the number one that. Sounded like a good day for the Jets fan, man.
Great day for the New York Jets, my man.
Okay.
Joe Douglas just knew how to wheel and deal during that. We haven't had minimum 3 first-round draft picks since Chad Pennington, Anthony Beck, Sean Ellis. Let's get it going. We got, oh my God. We got Jermaine Johnson. We got Garrett Wilson. We got Sauce Gardner. We're ready to go, man. And then we got Brees.
Boy.
We got Brees Hall, the running back from Iowa State. Come on now. We got
man.
some weapons for our guy, Zach Wilson. That's all I know.
Oh.
I'm pretty hyped about it.
Hopefully it works out for you guys, man. I'm hoping it works out for us too. We haven't won anything relevant in the last 10 years, so hopefully it is. All right. So we talked about the draft coverage. Let's get to the NBA playoffs. Round 2 of the NBA playoffs kicked off this past weekend, Sunday, as a matter of fact. First game of the afternoon matinee, man. The champs walked into Boston and stomped out the C's in a impressive Game 1 victory, Al. You had the Greek Freak drop a triple-double. My guy Bobby Portis. All these Knicks fans ran my guy Bobby Portis out of town. I was trying to keep Portis here. All these Knicks fans ran him out of town. He had a solid game. Yeah, man. Impressive win by the Bucks. What were your thoughts on Game 1?
Really? You were all in on Bobby Portis first game that he stepped on.
No, I was ready to run him out. After the Bulls game. Remember the Bulls game, the Bobby Portis game?
I do remember the Bobby Portis
Then,
game.
like, middle of the season, I was ready to run him up out of town. I was over it. I was over all the theatrics. I was tired of it. You know, him and Julius, it was just too much headaches. And then, but he finished the season strong. And
he did.
I did. I don't want to go into the archives on you, but I did advocate to bring him back at a proper cost. Then he went on to win a championship, and he's found a solid role with the Bucks, man. What was your thoughts on Game 1?
Hey, look, if you're gonna get Bobby Portis to give you that type of scoring without Chris Middleton, just a solid 15 and 11 in the starting rotation with Giannis Antetokounmpo, you know, giving you the triple double, as I said, 24 points, 13 boards, 12 assists, and then you got Drew Holiday with 25 points, 9 boards and 5 assists. You're not. This team's too physical, man. They're too physical for the Celtics. Game 1 said it. You saw how all the Celtics walked off the court limping after having to
Marcus
play
Smart
against.
Looked like he got hit by a bus, man. I felt bad for him. Every injury he had, I was like, oh man, I was feeling it.
He had the shoulder. He was it was everything, man. And I think they said I think they said Jaylen Brown was dealing with an ankle injury too, like a tweaked ankle. But regardless, the Bucks just went in there. They were physical. They were aggressive. I got them winning in 6. I got the Bucks winning in 6, but man, this team is going to be tough to stop for the Celtics. The Nets aren't even close to being as physical as the Bucks, being as deep as the Bucks. So Celtics going to have a lot on their hands. And the fact that they did this without Chris Middleton says a lot about the Bucks.
I mean, look, it's only Game 1. You know, I don't want to jump into too many conclusions. You know, Game 2, the referees will try to tilt it Boston's way to give them the tie. But I was impressed, man. And as you said, this is a different obstacle for the C's because the Greek Freak can wreck the game on both ends. You know what I'm saying? And he's so powerful that I don't know what type of defensive scheme the C's are going to try to come up with to slow this guy down. He's hitting jumpers now. He's powering his way to the lane. There's not one guy. Jaylen Brown, forget about it. Tatum, forget about it. Al Horford, good luck. The Time Lord, not a chance. He's powering through all these guys like they don't even exist. An easy triple-double for him last night. And that's the most important, most impressive thing for me with the Freak is not the points. You know, the points are there. It's the playmaking. Because that was always my question with him when, you know, putting him up there with the greats is, can he make his team better? You know, can he facilitate the way that LeBron does to make his team better and using his dominance to you know, get these guys open and drawing the double teams and finding guys open. And, you know, Connaughton is reaping the benefits. Grayson Allen's he's been getting buckets. He don't miss.
Efficient yesterday.
He don't miss.
He was efficient yesterday. Yo, if you're also getting Grayson Allen off the bench going 4 for 8, 3 for 6 from downtown, I don't know what you're doing at this point.
Yeah.
But to your point, it is like Giannis finding the fact that he got 12 assists, because this is the question that we've had. You know, it wasn't just the jumper. As you said, can he find guys out in transition? Can he just figure out how to like draw the double team, pass out of the post, you know, do even just like some complex like reads, like setting guys up, and he's doing that. And the fact that he can do all of that, I don't know how you stop him. I mean,
it's a problem.
You see Tatum falling down as he's trying to like as Giannis is trying to get his positioning in the post.
Yeah.
And he falls. And Giannis just easily lays that thing in with two guys trying to block him. The play that just got us all hyped was the self alley-oop off the backboard, though.
That move, because for a while, my guy Jamal Crawford held that down. You know, remember, he did it against the Celtics. Remember at the Garden? He threw it off the backboard. He threw it off the backboard twice, 2 different games. One against the Celtics. I forgot the other one. And I always gave that one to JC. But even though T-Mac had a nice one too. But this one is number 1 now. Off the backboard. Slam ferociously. It's impressive.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs. Yeah.
Very impressive.
That was very impressive, man.
They're going to do it in 6. That's my prediction right there.
I think another thing to close this one. You know, I still don't know. I did say on Twitter that I was going to give them the edge in 7 just because they're the champs and they deserve that respect, the experience factor, and the superstar like the Greek Freak. So I'm going to give that to them even despite not having Chris Middleton. But I thought another factor in this game was their size really imposed their will on Boston, man. Brook Lopez, the Freak, Portis, and Drew Holiday combined for 43 boards. All 4 players in double figures in rebounds. Lopez and Giannis, I think, both combined for 5 blocks. So they're intimidating in the paint. That could be trouble, man. That could be trouble. So, again, we'll see what happens in game 2. But, again, a very impressive showing by the champs to quiet the Boston momentum. So, yeah, number 2, Golden State against number 3, Memphis. You saw Draymond Green get ejected. And like I said, I call Golden State the champs because they still are, man. When you can't discredit the experience that Steph brings. Clay is back. Draymond when he's on the court. Iguodala, even though he's not the same player. Plus Steve Kerr. That's championship experience. And I think that is what carried them to this win on both ends. And it galvanizes and lifts up their role plays. Golden State wins 117-116. Ja couldn't get the last second layup. 3 seconds left. And the Dubs take game 1, man. What you think?
Well, before I get into what I think, I got to ask you a question on the Draymond ejection, though.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
Reputation, bro. We've seen it, you know, and everybody, look, I've always been against how they're calling fouls and they're reviewing everything. You know, you sneeze on a guy, they take 5 minutes to review. It kills the momentum of the game. It gives another team a timeout that doesn't deserve it. And they take way too long to view the obvious. It's gotten soft. They have no tolerance for anything. But at the same time as Draymond Green, it's a reputation thing. We've seen it with Rasheed Wallace. I remember one time, I think it was the playoffs, Rasheed Wallace stared at the referee. I think it was Ronnie Garrettson. Stared at him. Got a tech. Remember Tim Duncan theatrics with Joey Crawford. Sitting on the bench, got thrown out. So we've seen it. And so, you know, I'm not surprised. It's Draymond Green, bro. I'm not surprised. It is what it is, man. You know, he says he's not going to change his game. But it just, you know, that's a consequence, man.
Before I get to my analysis of the game, I didn't agree with throwing him out, but I get it. As you're saying, and you know, in law school, we learned something about whether it's habit or do you treat it out on a case-by-case basis because it's not habit, right? I forget the actual term. Mm-hmm. So because he has propensity to continuously do some dirty plays that we've seen him throughout his entire career, I get why he got thrown out of the game. And honestly, I'm happy they did it in game 1.
Yeah.
Just because it's not like middle of the series like they did against the Warriors, Cavs. Just to say, hey man, we're not going to tolerate this, okay? Like this is a warning. Tone it back. Play your game. don't do that. I don't agree with it. I agree with you. I think the league's got soft, but I understand why they did it. Now, getting to the game, I think the Warriors are going to do this in 6 because I think the NBA wants this to go 7, but I don't think it'll go 7.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Grizzlies got so many calls yesterday, but the Warriors were able to overcome all the calls for the Grizzlies. I mean, let's look at like when the ball touched Andrew Wiggins' shorts. They take forever to review that play.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, Memphis ball. But then you see, I forget if it was Bane or Brooks who the ball touched the jersey when he was out of bounds. They're like, that's a jump ball. And it was just calls like that seemed like it was just trying to heavily favor the Grizzlies. But the thing is that the Warriors is that they've been there. They've won 3 chips. You got Steph, Clay, and Draymond. They've all are 3-time champions. They know what it's like. Kevin Looney's also been part of that team. Andre Iguodala has been part of that team. Just the depth of experience, who's been in the championship and gone through the playoffs and gone through that gauntlet. They know how to be prepared for every game, and they know how to pace themselves. But then you add guys like Jordan Poole, right? You got a splash party. It's not even the Splash Brothers anymore. Gary Payton, who's tenacious on defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had a ferocious dunk too.
Ferocious.
Yeah. Jordan Poole, 31 points off the bench.
Off the bench. 12 for 20. Efficient. When you have guys who can score like that, and in all honesty, the Warriors weren't even shooting that great. Yesterday. Yeah. Memphis was actually shooting pretty lights out. And they lose this game by 1.
Yeah.
So I think the Warriors are going to bounce back, start getting into their shooting groove, and I think Memphis is going to get 2 games. I think they're going to get the next game at home, and they're probably going to sneak one out in Golden State. But then the Warriors are going to just clean this up and get ready for the next matchup, and I think that's going to be the Suns.
Yeah, I had Dubs in 7 again, just that championship factor, and you got Steph Curry and Clay. You can't count them out, but. Taking this game, this was an important game to me for the Grizzlies. But taking this game, I got to go Dubs in 6 because they won this game without Draymond Green. I think you're going to continue to see Draymond shadowing John Morant on his drives. And I think that's going to be problematic for Memphis. My biggest concern with Memphis, as it's been for most of the year, they were one of the worst half-court efficiency teams in the regular season. What happens when things bog down? And you saw in a big stretch that fourth quarter, the half-court offense was non-existent. If it wasn't for Jaren Jackson's prayer threes, this thing could have been over a long time, early into the fourth. That's going to be problematic. Bane and Dillon Brooks was throwing UFOs all over the place. You look for him to bounce back in game 2. Bane didn't have a good shooting night. Jaren Jackson's not going to be shooting like this the whole series. Had a lights out game 1, 30-something points. He had Jackson 33 points, 6 of 9 from downtown. Can't expect that from every game. He was great game 1, but they need more. Dillon Brooks 3 for 13. Desmond Bane 3 for 10. That's 6 for 23 from the field. It's not going to get it done. They don't have enough. You had 14 points from DeAnthony Melton. You can't expect that. Brandon Clark was great. I thought Clark was great, but you need more from your perimeter scorers, and that is Bane and that is Dillon Brooks. Need big games from them, to even have a chance. So we'll see what happens, and the Dubs edge out the Grizzlies by 1. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys, CP and Alex, on the 1s and 2s Knicks Weekly. We're gonna close out the show with a couple of stars who could be off the table already for the Knicks. But before we get to that, I want to salute everybody in the chat once again. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new. We'll shout you guys out. Knicks Weekly presented by Manscaped. But another sponsor of the show I want to tell you guys about is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. That is a prop game that we play here on this show. And you have the NBA playoffs going on right now. So I did make a couple of picks on Prize Picks. And for you guys at home, how you support us, you go to prizepicks.com, sign up with promo code KFTV, and they will match your deposit of up to $100. So it's a really good deal. And when you play Prize Picks, you have a chance to win up to 10 times your money. So here's where I went with my picks tonight, Al. With no Embiid, James Harden, all eyes are on Harden, man. We have not seen the beard be himself in these NBA playoffs yet. So tonight, I went against him again. Yeah, I kicked him when he was down. I went James Harden under 22.5 points. He finished with 16. Look, that Miami defense at home, you know they're going to be chomping at the bit to get a win, you know, to really set the tone for this series. And they did just that. They made quick work out of the Sixers. Sixers did, you know, make it interesting in you know, late in the third, early fourth, but Miami was just too deep, and they come away with the win. So I went with Harden under 22.5 points, and I got that. Now, I expected more of an offensive output with no Embiid there from my guy Maxey. You know, we were just talking Kentucky hoops with Jack Pilgrim. I went with Tyrese Maxey over 2.5 3-pointers made, and he only had one. So I did not hit that. He finished 1 for 6 from downtown. So wasn't Maxey's night, and wasn't my night for Maxey either. Here's one I did get. This one was not a gimme, but this one was my lock of the night. With no Embiid, I thought Bam was going to eat all night long, and I went Bam over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists, and Bam finished with 41. 24 points, 12 boards, 4 dimes. Great night for Bam with no Embiid. I didn't think that he was going to be challenged much at all by that Sixer defense. And I got 2 on the late tilt. I have Chris Paul over 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Suns and Mavs getting it in right now, late in the first quarter. And then I have Cam Johnson. Man, Cam Johnson, man. I like this kid. I like his game. Crushed the Knicks this year. I thought his 3-point number was kind of low in this. I got Cam Johnson over 1.5 threes in this game. So let's see what happens. I think the second quarter is about to kick off, so let's see what happens there. And those are my picks. For you people at home, play to win, but play responsibly. And once again, go to prizepicks.com, enter promo code KFTV, and they will match your deposit of up to $100. Okay, Al. Now, on the same topic of the playoffs, we had an elimination last week, and that was of the Utah Jazz. To no one's surprise, Utah Jazz have been eliminated. But there have been rumblings and rumblings and rumblings about the future of this Jazz team. Namely, what happens to Donovan Mitchell? What happens to Rudy Gobert? Will they split these guys up? And there was a tweet that came out today, and this was by, I'm just trying to pull it up here. Hang on one second. Just trying to pull up the tweet. There was a tweet by a Sean O'Connell on Twitter this morning. Somebody sent me this. A ton of people sent me this. Who said that, I know I'm not usually a Utah Jazz breaking news guy, but I'm a source close to the situation that's informed me that Rudy Gobert is at a him or me point with Donovan Mitchell. And he will demand that one of them be traded in a few days. Doesn't feel like they will win a championship together. I don't know who this guy Sean O'Connell is, but he says, I know I'm not usually, okay. He says, Rudy feels that his own numbers are consistent and getting better, while Donovan's D is a liability, and he's falling off in terms of explosiveness. Gobert is also aware of at least one Western Conference power that will be willing to pay handsomely for his abilities. I don't know how this guy got all this information. So you take it with a grain of salt. Rudy Gobert claps back on Twitter, says, every day has its own new rumor. Now, he didn't confirm, didn't deny. He wasn't really adamant about this. But look, man, I think there's a lot of smoke with this Mitchell and Gobert situation. Hard to tell what's real and not, but there's so much smoke out there. I mean, there's clearly friction. What happens with this Jazz team? I feel like they've reached their peak. I feel like they've peaked. They went out and got Conley, went out and got Bogdanovich. Those guys are 33, 34, 33 respectively. They're getting older. They traded Ingles. They have some salary cap issues. Don't have much cap space to deal with. They went out and traded for Nickeil Walker-Alexander, Juancho Hernan-Gomez with the Ingles contract. and flamed out against the Dallas Mavericks. So in the Spiders' 5 years, he's lost twice in the Western Conference semifinals, 2018-2021, 3 times in the first round. Now, Tim McMahon of ESPN, he's been writing some good articles lately, had a lengthy one on the Gobert and Mitchell relationship. And this one basically talks about the fact that, Ryan Smith, the new owner of the Jazz, D. Wade, they've gone to the Spiders' house out in Connecticut, met with the Spider, trying to see how they can make things right. They've been doing that for the past few years. There's some quotes here in Gobert, taking shots at the Spider taking shots at Gobert through the media, Quinn Snyder not being so happy about that. The rumors about Donovan Mitchell wanting to play for a large market. How do you see this thing playing out, man? Who stays, who goes?
I think Rudy stays, and I think Mitchell goes.
Ooh.
And it's not that I think they want it to be that way. I think the way the contracts are set up, it has to be Mitchell, because Rudy Gobert got a $200 million contract for a center, for a guy who is a great defensive presence, gives you some post, but doesn't really do much else outside of that, right? Top defender, and we know he's a top defender. Okay, he's one of the top bigs, according to Clean the Glass, with a point differential of negative 8.9. So he's up there with the bigs, especially for guys who played over 1,700 minutes. If it's that, then he's number one. So even though he is a top center, that contract, I don't know what team wants to take on that type of contract for a center, because that's just going to ruin your books. And then even if you want to move off of him, that makes it even 10 times harder, I feel like, unless he's just playing out of his mind. But even as we see in the playoffs, he's just so limited. What can you do with him? On the court, there's just so much you can only have. He's a good defensive presence, but even against the Utah Jazz, we just saw Jalen Brunson score easily in the paint. And that's supposed to be his bread and butter as a defensive big. So that's why I think it's more likely for Donovan Mitchell, because he got his rookie extension. That contract is more bearable. I think he has more value and more upside, even though in the playoffs he didn't play that well. And he didn't play that well. He shot 39.8% from the field on 22 attempts, shot 20% from 3 on 8 attempts per game, yet still somehow averaged 25.5 points. But with that type of play, and for such a high usage player, and being the number one high usage player as a combo guard, according to Clean the Glass, it's tough, man. But you can still buy low. I feel like it's easier to buy low on Donovan Mitchell right now and still get some good assets in return, rather than trying to move Rudy Gobert.
I think it's the other way around, man. I think Stifle Tower's out of there. I think he's out of there. I think he's gone.
I think it should go that way, because Donovan Mitchell is the guy you want to build around. But the contract, I don't know how you can move that contract. I don't know. I feel like you have to attach some assets to Rudy Gobert in order to move a $200 million center, man.
Yeah.
What centers are getting that?
That was a huge deal. But that's why, I'm like, what? That was a crazy look. There's no denying his impact as a rim protector, as an interior presence. However, for that contract, the limitations he has offensively, yes, you want to say they don't pass it to him, whatever. The limitations he has offensively, and what we've seen in the playoffs these last 2 years, they're going to make him guard you on the perimeter, whether it's the Clippers or the Mavs. By the way, Jalen Brunson had no problems climbing the Stifle Tower in that series. And so another first-round exit. Look, it's a team sport. They need more. It's hard to sell the future of my franchise building around Rudy Gobert than it is Donovan Mitchell. And I get what you're saying. The contract is enormous. But if I'm D. Wade, if I'm Ryan Smith, if I'm Danny Ainge, I can't see them selling the Spider. And another reason is, if you go into that Tim McMahon article, they've already made several moves to try to appease Donovan Mitchell. In the article, it talks about the fact that, first off, team personnel, there was an issue last year with Donovan Mitchell's ankle injury where he blamed the vice president of healthcare personnel. That vice president didn't clear him. There was his own trainer had cleared him. And I think that person got fired. He also asked the team to sign Eric Pascal, which they did. Irv Rowland, a respected player development coach who worked with James Harden, was added to the coaching staff at Donovan Mitchell's request. Frank Donald, Donovan Mitchell's personal security guard, was put on the payroll. Like I say, I said it before in another show. The team wants to keep you. They're going to move heaven and earth to do so. The owner and D Wade flying across country to go see him every year now. I think they're going to try to keep him. I don't know what you get for Gobert. I think they try to keep him and try to build a team around him. You still got 4 years left on his deal.
No, but that's my whole thing, right? It's like, I would totally keep Donovan Mitchell over Rudy Gobert 10 out of 10. If we're talking about player, it's easily Donovan Mitchell. No question. But the contract has to be like a legitimate thing that we're looking at here, which is like, okay, do I want to just blow? They should just really just blow this entire team up and start from scratch. Honestly, that's just my opinion. But when I look at Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, who's giving up a first rounder to say, let me just take on two? Like, unless you're that type of team that, like, I guess if you're the Warriors, if you want to add like Rudy Gobert, but even still, like, how much does he really add?
Mavs,
sure. Mavs could be another team. If you want to get a point guard, you can try to do a sign and trade or do whatever, try to get Jalen Brunson, although that contract doesn't really fill out because, but I mean, you could try to trade with the Mavs. That makes the most sense because they need a center. Right. Warriors could try to upgrade at center. Those are like the top two teams that just come to my mind. And what was it? That tweet said that a top coveted like playoff team was looking at Rudy Gobert too, right? In that tweet that you read, I'm pretty sure it did.
Yes.
So I get moving Rudy Gobert. I just don't know what team is going to be able to take that and just go over the cap. That's just my whole thinking.
Yeah.
And even like a team like the Mavs, they don't got space to take in Rudy Gobert. You have to shed so many contracts,
right,
to go get that. I mean, if you look at the Jazz's books, they're all very cheap deals on very short-term deals,
right,
in order to make that thing work. But I agree. They should be building around Mitchell, but it just comes back to Rudy Gobert's contract.
And then leave it to Knicks for clicks, because you had several media members, well, just two really, trying to put Gobert with the Knicks. You had Fred Katz, shout out to Fred Katz, was on the show, brought up a Gobert to the Knicks as an idea. It wasn't a rumor that he heard, but as an idea. Then you had, he said that on my show as well. And then you had John Hollinger of The Athletic talking about the Knicks trading for Gobert and justifying it by saying because it would be a Knick thing to do. And I'm like, yo, what are we talking about here?
Don't get me wrong.
What?
Don't get me wrong. Rudy Gobert would clean up a lot of issues on the Knicks as like a good, but there's no way the Knicks are trading for Rudy Gobert.
No, sir.
We already have max books. There's no way you could sell the fan base. Hey, we're going to trade most of our assets to bring in a $200 million set. Yo, fans would be in the streets rioting.
Yeah.
If that happened.
No, not happening. I'm sorry, not happening. Look, again, there's a lot to like about the guy, but we have way bigger issues that need to be solved that he can't. Yeah.
Rudy's got 4 more years on his contract, man.
4 more.
And it keeps going up and up. It's going to be 38 this upcoming season, 41, 43, and then 46 in 2025, 2026.
Unreal. Unreal. Yeah, John Hollins of The Athletic, people in the chat are besides themselves, said he could see the Knicks doing it just because they're the Knicks. Like, buddy, I hate to break it to you, but it don't work like that right
Isn't
now.
that the shtick? All this isn't
Yeah.
that the shtick with Hollins? It's like it's the Knicks.
Oh, it's the
So
Knicks.
that's what's gonna happen.
It's the Knicks. Go back a couple years. And when does that happen?
Not for a center.
Unreal.
For a center.
So, and my guy just texted me. He said the Spider Mitchell was at the Mets game, posing and taking pictures, signing autographs, looking like the mayor out there. So Spider's back home, off-season Spider. He's at Citi Field. We know his pops works for the organization. So Spider's back at home. Look, man, I'd love to get him. We don't have the leverage for him. So even if he was on the market, Ainge could go out and get 10 times better deals out there than what the Knicks can give. And it's just not realistic. I don't think they keep these guys together though.
And that's why I think because of how much you can get for Donovan Mitchell, even after a season like this, you can still get more value for him than you can get for Rudy. And if you're Utah at this point, and if you maxed out with what you can do for Donovan, you tried to build this team, you got Connolly, you got Jordan Clarkson, Rudy Gobert is that defensive guy. You allowed Donovan to be the focal point of this team. If you think about how they got the 3-point shooters, they got everything for him. And in this playoff series against the Utah Jazz, for shooting below all of his statistical averages for the regular season. And then on top of that, you see his defense taking a slip. I don't know if it's taking a slip because he's getting older, he's not able to play defense, or if he just didn't want to play. Right? Like, did he want, like, what is it? Does he want to leave? Is this just like a way to like lower the trade value to get out of here, to get out of Utah? What's happening? So, and we've heard it this entire time. Wants to go, like you talked about the big market appeal. You know, you have all the rumors, all the speculations. Knicks want to go after Donovan Mitchell. You got Worldwide West, Leon Rose. They were at the game. Were they watching him? Was it for Jalen Brunson?
Yeah.
There's a lot of smoke, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
And speaking of which, let me salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Knicks Weekly, we're chopping it up. Could the Spider be off the table already? Or is it Rudy Gobert? What happens there? But speaking of the Knicks, again, Knicks for clicks. This guy, Tim McMahon, wrote a lengthy article about the Spider and Gobert's relationship, and I just had to throw the Knicks in there. Here it is. Let me pull this up here for our reading enjoyment and amusement. Here it is. If the Jazz needed a reminder of what the future could hold for their franchise superstar, all they needed to do was look courtside during the April 16th playoff opener against Dallas's American Airlines Center. New York Knicks Executive Vice President William Wesley sat next to power forward Julius Randle, a Dallas native, the duo visible to television viewers every time the action change ends on the floor. Allen Houston, the former All-Star shooting guard, who is now Knicks assistant general manager, sat a few rows behind the Jazz bench. It was reminiscent of when Clippers president basketball operations Lawrence Frank and other team executives would frequently appear at Toronto Raptors games when they were preparing to recruit Kawhi Leonard. With one notable exception, Kawhi Leonard was entering free agency. Mitchell has 3 years left, at least 3 years left on his deal. The buzz has been building since one of the first moves by Knicks president Leon Rose, who launched CAA's basketball division, was to hire Johnny Bryant. Former Jazz assistant worked with Mitchell daily during the first 3 years of his career and continues to wear his signature Adidas shoes. Didn't we just talk about this last week?
We did. I did say that. I said that. I was like, yo, he's wearing the Spiders. All right,
here we go again. Here we go again with the fake connections. I don't know, but there's a lot of smoke there. I like the Johnny Bryant hire, associate head coach. Wes is playing chess out here, man. He's playing chess.
Look, man, Mitchell looks good in orange and blue. I'm not
great.
a Mets fan, but hey.
He looks great. One Western Conference general manager described the situation as amateurish, comparing it to AAU coaches trying to poach players from other programs. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. If you want to try to tell me that Worldwide West was there to try to convince Donovan Mitchell to come to the Knicks like he doesn't have his cell phone number and hasn't been calling him for years, Give me a break, man. Please give me a break. Talk about amateurish. I think they were there to watch and watch these guys in the playoffs. I don't think there was any recruitment involved there. Who knows?
It's a playoff matchup between the Jazz and the Mavericks. You have Jalen Brunson, who's been tied to the Knicks. You got Donovan Mitchell, who's been tied to the Knicks. Why not go watch and see how they perform?
Why not?
Especially Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
If the Knicks are that serious about Jalen Brunson in a playoff appearance, and you're thinking about a guy who's going to try to get $100 million as a free agent, don't you want to see like live action, how he plays, how he performs, how he handles the pressure? Handle the pressure pretty well. So,
no question. Now let's go to the next guy who could be off the market, and that is Zion Williamson. You know, Zion's team, the Pelicans, looked pretty damn ferocious and formidable in their playoff loss to the Phoenix Suns, man. Now, Zion, in a meeting with the press the next day, was asked about his contract situation. Here was Zion. Oh, let me, it would help if I unmute this.
Eligible for an extension this summer. If they offer it, would you be willing to accept it?
Can you repeat the question?
You're eligible for an extension this summer. If they offered you an extension, would you be willing to accept it?
Of course. Of course. I wouldn't be able to sign it fast enough.
Why is this situation, you're excited about being a part of?
Like I said, the locker room, it was a different feel this year. It was a...
All right, so Zion says, of course. And of course I would sign it. And I'll give you 186 billion reasons why. There it is. You know, not surprising. Look, not surprising, man. If you guys go to the McDonough interview, if you just watch what's going on around the league, they're taking the bag. Figure it out later. Go get your money. This is a kid who had knee injury, foot injury, weight issues. You don't know if he's coming in next year looking like Shaq or looking like, a regular basketball player here. Is he coming in looking like Oliver Miller?
No, man.
Or is he going to trim down, look like Charles Barkley in his prime? You take that money. You take that money and you worry about it later. But nevertheless, if he takes that money, forget about that, and that Pelicans team, man, with Ingram coming out on the main stage, McCollum, you got Alvarado, Herb Jones doing the dirty work. That team, Valanciunas, team is looking nice, man, with a healthy Zion.
Trey Murphy. Don't forget our
Trey
guy
Murphy.
Trey Murphy.
Forget Trey Murphy.
You got Kyra Lewis when he gets healthy. That team's up and coming.
Team's looking good, man. Team is looking good.
And he should. I mean, we've talked about this numerous times where players are going to sign the contract, get the bag, and then force a trade to get out of a bad situation or just a situation they don't like. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad. But if Zion didn't sign the max, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned that a player didn't take the max offer and decide to leave through free agency. I'm a little concerned. I mean, it'd be great, but now we can just start putting the rumors quasi to rest. The next thing is like, oh, what are the Knicks going to trade to get Zion after he signs the contract and reunite everybody?
Yeah. That's
still going to come down the pipeline, but it could be quiet for now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Look, I saw all these moves as pipe dreams anyway. Whether it's Spider, whether it's Zion, it's gonna be it's gonna be hard to get these guys. For one, you need leverage, which neither player nor the Knicks have. And if you don't have leverage, then you need to have attractive offers without giving up your shirt, your pants, your underwear, everything. So we are not in the best position to go out and make a move, and so we're just gonna have to keep building, man. This thing is just gonna have to just keep building, and hey, maybe we groom our own star here. Maybe we groom our own star. Maybe it's Shaedon Sharpe. Who knows?
Putting that energy out there.
Look, I was just saying. Look, it's tough, man. It's not easy. It's not easy to build a contender. It's not easy to land a star. They should have drafted Mitchell. 13 other teams passed on him. Should have drafted him. Give credit to Walt Perrin, Give credit to Walt Perrin for discovering Rudy Gobert in the second round.
He's got to do it here, man. And he's we're getting some solid role players.
We're getting some guys. We're getting some guys.
It's better than what it has been.
Yeah, no question.
If we did get Zion, that'd be cool. I mean, Zion is just a beast in the paint.
Yeah.
When he was healthy last season, he averaged the most points in the paint out of everybody, 19.5 points. The next guy was Giannis Antetokounmpo with 16.9. And even if Zion did it again this season, he still is leading. And Ja Morant led the league with points in the paint with 16.6. So Zion is just a beast in the paint, man. And he gets fouled like RJ. Can you imagine having him, RJ on the same team? Two guys that can just draw a lot of fouls.
Yeah.
Because like Zion's in like the 97th percentile, drawing a 22.5 percentage for foul rate. So right up there with RJ. It'd be great. But it's just not going to happen.
all we can do right now is imagine. That's it, man.
That's all we ever do around here, man. We're just imagining.
That is all we ever do right around here in Knicks land is simply imagine. But nevertheless, Al, man, that's what the draft is for. That's what the offseason is for. And hey, maybe luck breaks our way. Maybe we get the number 1 pick. Who knows? Let's save this soundbite just in case it happens so I can be proven right. Either way, great show. Salute to all the mods out there, man. Everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Another edition of Knicks Weekly. Al, any last words before we wrap?
I'm just Shaedon Sharpe, man. Just a mystery.
Yeah.
If I were the Knicks, take the risk, man. Guy of that talent, the way Jack was talking about him, I would just take the risk if he's there at 11. Just roll the dice. If he's a 3-level scorer, has the talent, needs some wing depth, just go for it, man. Just absolutely go for it.
Yeah, like I said, man, I think we're at the point where we need to swing for a home run here. And if they don't trade it, who knows? That's if they don't trade it. Let's get to the lottery, see what happens, and then go from there. But if he's in the radar, why not? Why not? But it was great to kick off the draft coverage. We'll have some more draft coverage each and every week until we get the June 23rd, which is the NBA draft. May 17th, the lottery. And let's see what happens, man. Let me salute to, once again, the people in the chat. Salute to some of our regulars, man. Russell Reed in here. Efren Lopez, how you feeling? Junior Caroma Jr., give me an NFL draft grade in the chat, Junior. How you feeling, man? We had Jack Pilgrim come on and tell you Wandale Robinson is the truth. A lot of Giants fans were not happy with that pick out. I think that was part of the Giants and Jets trade during the draft. I think that was part of the Giants and Jets trade.
What pick did they select them?
I don't remember if that was our I don't remember if that was our own second round pick or that was the Jets' second round pick. Let's see.
It might have been the Jets because I know the Jets traded up
right
for the second round.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. 43rd overall. Was that part of the Jets trade? I don't know.
No.
Okay, so that was our own probably. But either way, good pickup. See what happens there. And yeah, man, Al, have a great week. We'll chop it up next Monday, either Sunday or Monday. We'll do okay. Chris Smith in the chat says we traded with the Jets, then with the Falcons. So there you go. There you go. Dark Matter, RA, what's good? DJ's man, how you feeling? JT Riddick, how you feeling? Yeah, so that was the story there. So see what happens. And that's it, man. Stay tuned. Could have another interesting show for you guys this week. So stay tuned as I work behind the scenes on that. And that's it, man. Got to wrap up the show. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys one more time. Hit that subscribe button. Knicks Weekly, CP, Al, manscaped.com, promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. And also Prize Picks. Remember, go to prizepicks.com and a promo code KFTV for a 100% match on your deposit of up to $100. Play responsibly. Drew Licata in the chat. Salute to Drew. Remember that the show is available in audio podcast format, all the major podcast platforms, so no need to miss it. And that's about it, man. We'll check you guys next week at the latest, and stay tuned. I might have a special show going on this week as well, man. So, Al, once again, have a good week. And
you too, sir.
Peace. King Matthew, salute. Peace.